This is the Laser Tag Pro BRX. This is pretty much the A game of take-home laser tag, and I'm going to show you how this stuff works. The blasters on these, there's only one type out there right now, but the BRX is a rifle, and for people who are serious about laser tag, that's kind of all you want. You don't want to mess around with a pistol and then upgrade to a rifle or whatever, stuff like that. So the fact that it only comes in one type is okay with me. There's a lot going on here. There's a price tag associated with all that stuff going along here. There's a lot more that I could get in depth with on this, but I just want to give you my impressions, a brief overview of how it works, and then there's more videos that we'll have that show gameplay and get in depth with all the game types and all that stuff. But this is pretty exciting stuff to be able to have something this high quality. The blaster design feels great. It's got a little bit of heft to it, so that's kind of nice from a realism factor, but it's not so heavy that it's going to be wearing on you after hours of gameplay. It's very comfortable to use. It has a good shoulder stock that's fixed in here. Speaking of the stock, there is a rechargeable battery that comes in there. There's also an adapter, so that way you can put just standard AA's in there as well, which is very nice. You charge it. There is ports on the bottom here to plug it in and charge it from a wall charger when you're not using it to keep those batteries topped off. Moving down, you got just a trigger here, your reload handle here. These lights light up to indicate your ammo and your health. It's nice that they're on the side of the blaster, so that way you're not constantly getting blinded by that light, especially if it's facing forward in a night game. That's kind of a pain. Up top, you can't see it because it's covered up by the sight right now, but there's actually a plug in here where this sight literally plugs into. So you mount the sight on the weaver rail, and it runs off the power in the blaster, so you don't have to worry about batteries running out or leaving this guy on or whatever, because it comes on and off as the blaster does. There's several different settings for the sight on there for it as well. And zeroing this sight is incredibly crucial to this blaster because it is very accurate. It's really picky with where you've got the blaster aimed. That's kind of the beauty with laser tag. It's line of sight shooting. You're not dealing with airsoft or paintball or Nerf or projectiles, which are great, but they are losing distance and arcing down over time. With this blaster, you're getting about 550, about 600 feet of range is the kind of the maximum that I've tested these out to. And that was in full daylight settings. At night, you could probably even shoot further. So with that accuracy comes quite a bit of range, and line of sight shooting is a lot of fun. If you can see it, you can hit it. I don't know of a whole lot of parks and places where you can play where you have more than 600 feet of wide open space to be able to hit a target. That's kind of optimal conditions, so it's really nice to know that there's not very many limits with the blaster. It really just comes down to you and your aim. The grip over here is very comfortable. There's also a button on this side for secondary weapon functions, which are nice. Those change between blaster to blaster. This black spot up here is a gun sensor. There are infrared sensors in there, so you can shoot and hit the gun and land a tag on it. There's also this. This is your head sensor. These guys, you can get hit from 360 degrees around. It's adjustable to many different head types, including my own. I do have a rather large head, so it's nice to be able to have something that can adjust to that. The backpack back here, this is where your on-off switch is, and this is also where your batteries are housed. I guess while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and turn it on. You might want to plug your ears.
Welcome to Laser Tag Pro.
It's admittedly loud.
Select a game.
There is an indoor mode. You can press and hold this button and switch it to, for the sake of you being able to hear the video and the sound on here. I'm going to leave it on outdoor mode. But yeah, if you're using outdoor mode indoors, it's going to get deafening. And even just standing next to it out here, it's rather loud. But nice to be able to hear that. Also, because of how powerful this speaker is, I will note that it almost acts like a rumble pack. Even though there is a rumble pack down here, you feel the blaster vibrating just from the sound effects that it's making, because they're pretty intense. So you've got the lights on here, like I mentioned, the on-off switch down here, and then you've got these buttons on this side to set up the game, essentially.
Free-for-all.
There's 4 different settings. I've got it on free-for-all.
Deathmatch. Supremacy. Survival. Free-for-all.
So you select your game type.
Lives.
And you set how many lives you have. You can set those to unlimited, or you can set those to a certain amount.
Game time.
You can also set your game time to unlimited or game time to a certain amount, which is kind of nice as well.
Respawn time.
When you respawn, when you're shot out, you pull the trigger to respawn. There's a delay that you can put in there. The nice bit with being able to choose essentially when you respawn by pulling that trigger is it's not automatic, so you're not being respawned in harm's way. So you can get out of the way or go back to a designated respawn point, whatever you're doing, and go from there.
M4.
Then you've got your weapons. I've got it on free-for-all, so they're all mostly regular type weapons.
Select M, SR100, SMG X3, TAC 87, MG7, M4.
We're going to stick with the M4, but these weapons all have different rates of fire, different amounts of ammo, different reload times, different damage that they deal, and that's just on the free-for-all stuff and the deathmatch stuff. The Supremacy version of this has way more different settings and such, and classes and all that it gets into. Again, I'll have videos on those specifically, but just wanted to let you know that they're there. Once you've got all of your settings locked in, you pull back on the reload handle.
Locked and loaded.
And you're locked and loaded. I'll show you how it fires. You notice there's some muzzle flash here as well. The muzzle flash doesn't line up with exactly where the shots are going, which is why this guy is really important, but it is kind of cool. When you're out of ammo, you pull this guy to reload. I mentioned before that there's different reload times depending on the gun that you're using or the setting that you have on it. And then, so you can get hit here, and you can also get hit here, but you can also turn on your head sensor and use it as a target. So I've got this, I can put this guy over there and fire away. It's also really handy when you're zeroing these sights before you get started, which is crucial. If this guy's off even a little bit, then you're not going to hit him. If the crosshairs are on your target, you will hit them every time. But if you're off even just a little bit, then you're going to miss them. And so if this guy isn't set up properly, that was probably the most tedious process of working with these blasters, is getting everything sighted in properly. So I definitely recommend spending some time with the blaster to set that stuff up properly. It's great having the ability to just turn on a headset and go do range testing or go do sight zeroing instead of having to grab another blaster to do that. Speaking of grabbing another blaster, I would recommend using that for doing that instead of picking up a second, because these are quite expensive. This is where you really have to be a big fan of laser tag to make this worth it. One Laser Tag Pro BRX runs about $380 or $379 and some change or whatever. Either way, it's astronomically more expensive than anything else on the market. The Laser X, the Phoenix LTX, the recoil system, all the stuff that I've reviewed before, nothing really pales in comparison to price on this. But if you've picked up on all the features that I've been going over so far, nothing really pales in comparison to what this thing has. There's no reliance on Wi-Fi signal or having a cell phone to run things for you. As a result, there's no glitching, which is really nice. There's a ton of game settings built into this, whereas most other blasters you just turn on, set a team setting, and go. There's a lot more things that you can customize with these. How long your game is, how many hits you have, your respawn time, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on. There's a lot that's not just the blaster itself and the sight and your battery pack and the head sensors and this handy strap and all that stuff, that just the hardware of it. The software and everything that makes this thing work. It works on its own. It works on its own very well, and you get a lot of play out of this because of all the different game types that are available to you. You can set different weapon settings. I can go on. That's what I'll do in the other videos, because I don't want this to go on any longer than it has. But with that comes a price. So instead of me going out and buying a ton of these, it's probably better if my hardcore laser tag buddies go out and get them themselves. We meet up at some park somewhere and go have fun for several hours. It's not something that I think is feasible for fans like myself to go out and buy 24 of these, like I have a whole bunch of Phoenix LTXs that I loan out for games. I can't afford to do that with these. But if you have people that are interested enough in this stuff, and you have 4, 5, 10 people that are into this, then you can go out and you can have a lot of fun and get a lot of use out of them. So it really just depends on how serious you are about laser tag. There are a lot of good things to it. It is a premium product. It comes at a premium price, And I'm just really fortunate to be able to have the opportunity to show you guys this stuff and get more in depth with this. So there's way more stuff to come. Leave a comment, subscribe, ask questions, watch the rest of the videos that we'll have that are coming up with this stuff. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you around.